So we've made it to episode 3 of season 2 of the All Things ABC podcast. We're back again, the three of us. Nicer couches this time, sitting nice, relaxed here. People can only listen to what we're feeling, but we probably sound a lot more relaxed than these brown couches, don't you think, Noel?
No, it's nice. For the people wondering where we are, we have cleaning crew and maintenance crew in the gym here in Trim. So we kind of timed things badly. It was meant to be in the gym and we were panicking and had to get a new location. So we've snuck into the bar, so thanks and apologies to Trim GA for the use of your facilities. No, it's lovely in here.
Time things badly. I'm looking at that bar over there. I'm thinking you picked a perfect spot here. And I'm just looking at the bar and just remind me I'm the taps over there.
I think they could be empty, Sean. I think them taps could be dry.
Well, I guess I won't have my wedding here, so.
Yeah, so Sean, you've mentioned the wedding. When's the wedding?
Wedding is in 2 months' time, so just a small kind of local family kind of wedding, and then we'll have a big celebration in a new house a couple of days later. And the number one question I've been asked by members on the gym floor is nothing to do with the wedding or nerves or Niamh. It's, Sean, not are you going to, but what Jordans do you have for your wedding? Let me tell you, Noel, I don't have a suit yet for it. I don't know exactly how that's going or some said vows. But I do know the Jordans I am wearing for this wedding. They are brand new in the box. They look a certain je ne sais quoi. I just don't know what that means.
Are they blue?
But no, they're white and shiny black, and there's a bit of gold in them as well. But
for anyone who's probably seen my face, I'm fit to kill you.
They're like my dad over here, but Dad's the only one who's like, no, Sean, you have to wear shoes.
You do have to wear shoes.
Where's the law that says you have to wear shoes to wear? There's not even going to be in a church. Oh. It's the only thing I'm going to get away with this. She knows who she's marrying into now.
Yeah,
so.
Fair enough.
But like it's, to me, you know, a wedding, obviously it's great, it's exciting and all the rest. But the most exciting part of the whole journey was what Niamh's experiencing now, and that's the house. So there's huge congratulations in store for you, Niamh.
Yes, thank you. Yeah, so myself and Jess put a deposit on the house in the last couple of weeks. And it happened very quickly, and only for luck was on our side and some blessings from above. I think it wouldn't have went our way because we're leaving the sales appointment and all the houses were already taken. And we got the one we wanted. So it was a win-win, beautiful location. It's not built yet, it won't be ready till end of summer, I would say, but yeah, it's really exciting.
Down by a beach as well. Are you going to turn to those people that wake up in the morning,
absolutely not,
sea swimming and has the dry robe and stuff afterwards? It's very popular in Wicklow doing that.
I might get the dry robe, but that would just be for the crack. Like I wouldn't be getting up at 6 a.m. We already are up at 6 a.m. for work, so I'd be getting up at 4 a.m. before work.
So here's the two of you talking about all the exciting stuff, right? So houses and weddings and all that sort of stuff. But when you get to my age, you get the consequences of them houses. So I'm in the consequences stage.
Don't lighten the mood.
Yeah. So my good news is our little Keano, but he's 2 in May. He's his first year and a half of his life. He up every night of the week for hours on end. We discovered that he had problems with his ears. He got grommets in his ears, something I'd never even heard about until he got them done there at Christmas. It was basically described that he was living with his head in a bucket of water. So while it wasn't an overnight cure or anything, he's now talking, which he wasn't before that. He's full of yap, like it's so funny, everything you say, he tries to repeat what you're saying. Like one thing he won't repeat, if I'll say something to him like, say silly mammy, and he'll go, silly daddy.
I think he knows best.
Yeah. So it's great. Now, I'd love to say he's sleeping every night of the week, but I think we got to bed last night at about 1:10 but he slept then till 6 or 6:30 or something. So whereas up until January there, like we could have been up for several hours every night. So when we get a few hours in a row now, we think we're unbelievable. Like, so it's still not perfect. But it's so much improved. We see the benefits for him. It has changed our lives in terms of, like Mike Whoop, even with that little sleep, Mike Whoop said 95% this morning. Because you're getting just consistent sleep and good quality sleep, whereas instead of the broken sleep that we were getting, there'll be loads of people listening who will relate to that stuff. So there's the consequences of your actions.
Do I need a wedding? Cut that bit out. She won't listen to this part anyway.
Oh, Sean, skip
Like,
ahead.
I'm sick of hearing Sean talk. I'm not going to listen to Sean talk in my free time. But a lot of our members are listening to us talking this podcast, and a lot of members now are building towards their battle cancer events coming up, and all their training, different things like that. And it's a very, very exciting time right now for ABC.
Yeah, let's run through a few of the bits. So the battle cancer is one part. I suppose overall as a gym and as a community, we didn't want it to just feel, now we've a serious amount of people doing it. We've 184 people taking part in Battle Cancer, which is the biggest in the world. The Dublin event is Battle Cancer's biggest event in the world as well. It's beaten London, which was their biggest. It's beaten the various American cities. That's really cool, and for us to be the biggest group involved in Battle Cancer is absolutely class. But at the same time, ABC isn't just about the people doing one event. But as a consequence of that one event, we did set ourselves back at a meeting back in January this lofty goal of doing something impactful off the gym floor, which was where this man I came up with 50,000.
Let's make things extra hard.
Yeah, I came up with the 50,000 thing, I think, and then Sean got out his diary and started counting days and said, "Hey, man, we did go for 50,000 in 50 days," which obviously had a cool ring to it. So as of today, I think we're on about 27,000 raised, 23,000 to go. What date is it? It's the
fourth, as we're
the
recording
fourth.
this.
What have we? 18, 19 days to go.
23rd, is it? Yeah, it's 22nd, so 22 days.
Whatever. We
18
won't,
days.
19 days, yeah.
use our math skills here.
Every member knows there's no such thing as a coach with good math skills.
Only barbell maths. Only barbell maths.
We can do that really fast, but in terms of reps and counting up and down or time, we're no good.
So we've our 50,000 thing, which we're doing as a ABC community. It's one of the things I'm most proud of in terms of what we've ever done with ABC, in that we're leveraging, I suppose, a 600 people strong community to achieve something so impactful that's outside of the gym floor. It's not about sets and reps or weights or PBs or fat loss or any of those things. It's so much bigger than that. That's the really cool thing about it. Like, it looks like we'll achieve it. We're on course to achieve it in terms of, we've been doing nearly 1,000 a day so far, and if that kind of keeps going, and we're about to launch our fundraising draw. So I'll even just throw in here, our fundraising draw is going to be announced this week, or has been announced this week, but the tickets will be out this week. Andrew and Daft Bug, I doubt he'd be listening to this, but he's printing them for us at the moment. He's one of our sponsors. Ivara, formerly Quintain, so our landlords in our Crossings Adamstown gym, are the top prize, €2,000 cash, and so many members have contributed. Like, I don't want to name just anyone, but like, we've so many members with a right spread across the 3 gyms have contributed. So we've about 20 excellent prizes there. So the quiz will really help drive the final stages of the fundraising. And then the great thing is that we get to celebrate it with a big night in the Glenroyal, Smash Hits as the band. That's pretty cool because they were our wedding band, and that's why I chose them.
Yeah.
They are a great wedding band. I've seen them at weddings. They're fantastic.
Be like a little throwback for you now.
Yeah, well, that's kind of.
Well, he was reminiscing at the start of this podcast about weddings and getting a house for the first time, and now he's going to do it all again on this night out.
So, I kind of was thinking something that you could mark something big in your life. So I think we'll achieve things or thereabouts, or if it's not before, it'll be shortly after that night. that we've the Smash Hits night in the Glenroyal, and we've like that's just some of the calendar events. There's other stuff that's been happening and gone on recently as well.
Well, like Niamh, the old school circuits is coming up there. That to start that entire week on Paddy's Day on that Monday morning. Rumour has it you're getting heavily involved in what kind of tunes and stuff like that. The Smash Hits tunes as well.
Absolutely
coming up.
not. I think I was being slagged this morning for my tune tactics. So don't count on me. But yeah, I think that Roisin had that great idea to have old school circuits and then have Smash Hits playlist. So I think the two go hand in hand. And it's such a nice session. I know you've run it in Clane, so it's going to go down a treat with the members.
It's always just great practice circuits, getting through the different stations, different rounds, and just people are, it'll be a good mood, it'll be the end of the bank holiday week and all the rest, and then start that lead up that week towards, like, it's always great, the destination of something, but I always love the build up to doing something as well, and just the lead in that entire week is going to be a lot of fun.
It's going to be really exciting.
Yeah,
and like there's more to it. First of all, it's a give back to the members, because we were closed for the storms. Some gyms were only closed for a half day, some were closed for 2 days, depending on the location and the circumstances. But basically, as a team, the team were like, well, we got a day or two or whatever off work, and wanted to give something back to the members, and we're doing the give back. And this is something that's for the members as a whole, as opposed to, again, the battle cancer thing. There will be a focus on Irish Cancer Society on the day. There will be a focus maybe on hopefully selling a few raffle tickets that day. But it's just a give back because of the closure with the storms. And that probably leads into the fact that the battle cancer people are getting their own thing that Thursday anyway.
One of the things I love about this, that was during the battle cancer training day we had a couple of weeks ago, I was talking to a few members before it, and I'm used to talking to members doing like High Rocks events, and they're like, they know what they're in for. But there's a lot of members doing this that weren't too sure what they're in for. There could be some people that before they signed up to the gym, they wouldn't be quote unquote gym people, they might call themselves, and they were very nervous about the event. And then when they went through the training, they're like, oh my God, I didn't think I was able for this kind of thing. And they're going through the exercise, and not only going through exercise, they're having to crack with their partners and stuff, and you can see them talking and stuff during the break. Whereas before that, like the week leading up to it, I knew I couldn't even joke with them, like, oh, geez, you're in for it now, these step-ups, stuff like that. Because I knew if I said that, they'd panic, they mightn't turn up in the day for the training day. But then seeing them, like, just literally thrive in the training day was just class to see. And that kind of stuff, I'm really looking forward to see how they get on an event and keep pushing forward from there.
Yeah, go on.
Well, it was cool to see actually from last year's Battle Cancer, like, that was the first time we ever did it as kind of like a big group as ABC. Seeing those people doing it again this year and how much they've come on, like, they absolutely flew through the training day. There was nothing needed to be done. Everyone was in tune, click go, and they just flew through it. And in my eyes, I was like, Jesus, some of these teams should be nearly on the compete side, so doing the higher level. So that might be something to encourage them potentially next year to do. And then those that are only starting out this year, they're gaining the confidence like the guys did last year, and it's just going to have a roll-on effect, and everyone's going to just be egging each other on, and that's what I'm excited to see, pushing each other on.
The difference between this year and last year, because yourself and Roisin running it in Clane between 3 gyms, and obviously it was so big this year, we need 3 different locations, but even seeing people just approach the workouts was completely different, because they were all nervous and rigid last year, like everyone was, and just struggling to pace themselves. Whereas this year there was members come up to other members and giving them advice and approaching the different things to ski and how long to stay in this thing, to switch over and all that. And it was so cool to see that when they finished, like, that felt really good. Whereas like last year they just didn't know what to expect for the whole thing. And it's like, as a coach, it's so easy, because stand back, press play, and just, and then they're off on the music, and off they're going for the 5 minutes, and they know what's going on. And like, I remember it finished this year, and it was like, turned to Roisin, and it was like, that was actually very smooth, very easy in terms of the members took over of the events.
I just want to praise the whole team for those 3 events across 3 locations, because you were talking about how smooth they were, but they were smooth because of really good planning, really good operations, setting people up to succeed. You don't realise bad planning until you see it in action, or until something goes wrong. So people often take for granted, oh yeah, it was really good, but they don't realise it was so good because of the amount of planning that would have gone on in terms of writing the sessions, practicing the sessions in the gyms the week beforehand, all that sort. So I just want to say thanks to the whole team, and Niamh, yourself and Roisin put a lot of work into the battle cancer prep classes and stuff. It really, really worked well. There was a little proud dad moment at how good they were. Yeah, it was really cool. On that then, Scott, the founder of Battle Cancer, is flying over from Miami to us on the Thursday prior to that taking place on the Saturday. So what we're doing is, obviously he's staying in Dublin, he wants to come and do it in Dublin, so we're actually going hosting that. Plan B has actually been actioned. We had a plan A and a plan B. We're going with plan B. So it's going to be in the Adamstown and Lucan gym, split into two workouts, a 7 o'clock time and an 8 o'clock time. So look, people will be travelling across 4 gyms or 3 locations or 3 areas. To that, you've got the guy who's the founder of Battle Cancer staying in Dublin. I suppose he doesn't want to have to travel to Trim or Clane as much as he'd love the 2 areas, but you can understand the logistics of all the work they've probably to do ahead of things on the Saturday in the RDS. So we're delighted he's going to be with us all Thursday evening, and you know that'll be another kind of proud thing for ABC, to have someone of that calibre come and talking to our members in one of our gyms.
Last year the hype day was great crack, and now you've got the main man himself coming over, so I can only imagine what it's going to be like in Adamstown for it. It's going to be class.
Yeah, well no, he's coming because he said he heard that the hype day last year in Lucan was probably their best hype day of all the different ones they've done. They got such a buzz out of it that he wanted to come and see it for himself. And again, with ABC being the biggest team in the world in terms of participants, I suppose he wants to show his own gratitude by coming and thanking everyone himself.
Yeah, no, it's going to be class.
It's pretty cool. But here, that's not the only thing going on. We've just, Niamh, I don't know, do you want to go through the Live Better, how it went or anything like that?
Yeah, so I was chatting to Jamie briefly, and he was chatting through the members that have not only completed the Live Better, but I was actually continuing on and doing extra work with them beyond that. And I've chatted to a few of the members that completed it in Trim, and they were like, no, I'm going to continue it myself. Like, they've gotten the confidence to be like, I know what I need to do now. I know where I can taper back if I have like a weekend away or I'm going on holidays. And it's just like really empowering to them to be like, oh, I have a bit of autonomy in my nutrition now. And that might have not been their first one. They might need to do maybe 1 or 2 more Live Betters to be at that stage. But any feedback that I've gotten so far, people have been like, okay, I feel like I actually understand a little more. So they've definitely taken something from each one.
And it was at a tough time of year because we started that late 3rd or 4th week of January, which is a tough time of year. Anyway, I participated in it, but what I did was I adjusted the weeks.
What do you mean?
I knew I had a weekend away with friends coming up, and that was going to be in the end of the 3rd week of it.
Yeah.
So I started it a week early and finished it a week early.
So your blow off then was at the end of the week.
Yeah, I was delighted with my results though. Like I lost 3% body fat. I went from like 18 to 15. I was delighted with that. I put on some muscle. My weight stayed more or less the same. It does fluctuate between a kilo or 2 here or there all the time, but my body composition within that can change a lot.
Yeah.
Even without my weight changing a huge amount. I was really happy with how it went personally. It also coincided for us with Keane's sleep starting to improve. So me and Helen had similar results in that we found, like, while it was tough to implement some of the nutrition principles, we both got similar results from it. And we were going, like, it was a combination of following the nutrition principles, but also doing it while getting better quality sleep. So just for us, it really was like, wow, like the whole sleep thing is true. Like, it makes such a difference to your hormones and your just your stress levels, your your recovery from workouts, your ability to train harder again. You might be craving certain foods when you're tired versus not having the same amount of cravings when you're not tired, and there's just so much to be said for the sleep side of it.
Even cooking and stuff at the end of the day, you're probably like, you're so tired, right, come on, only this time we'll get to take away, and then tomorrow we'll start it fresh and go from there. But for yourself, Noel, doing this, because I obviously cannot relate to this, but a lot of parents that do to live better, and you know, yourself and Helen doing together, one would say, you're very lucky that way that you're both doing this plan at the same time. We do have people in the gym that other halves are doing it, but when you are cooking meals for Clara and Keane, like, some people say they're picking on the meals, like picking little bits here and there, and you're kind of cooking more meals, your live better, non-live better meals, and all the rest. Do you find that difficult at any stage, doing that? Where you're
come here now, Sean. Their meals can be stuff like pasta, Cheerios.
But yeah, with Cheerios, I know myself.
I'd be finishing off a bowl of Cheerios.
I finish that bowl.
I do.
Oh, sorry, I think you're like, oh, this is easy because it's pasta Cheerios. Like, it's hard.
Fish fingers. Like
one for you, one for me. Like, I do that.
The kids stuff is so funny. Clara's 4.5 now, and she's quite good with food, but like the stupid stuff, she loves ham, right? She absolutely loves ham. So we've convinced her that beef is just like dark brown ham.
That's not going to go well for her when she gets older.
She decided like a year ago she didn't like chicken. But now we've started like getting, say, Cajun chicken and stuff, and it has the bit of orange on it, like, and we've told her that this is big girl white ham. And she loves it. Whereas if we just told her it was chicken, she wouldn't eat it.
Oh, no.
So just all the funny little stuff that goes with it. Right, so hold on, let's see, have we covered everything that's going on? We've lived better. When's the next Live Better, Niamh? Do we know?
I think it's end of April, start of May, so we've a month or two. Because there's a lot going on between now and then as well. You won't want to throw it in on top.
Yeah, no, you can't. Like that's one thing with our events. We'd have to figure out. There's only can be so much things going on at any one time for people to be able to kind of focus on something. So right, end of April, around May, great. Like hopefully people will be eager to either redo it, go again if you haven't done it before. It really does have an impact. Spoken about battle cancer. Have we event-wise? We've mentioned Smash Hits. We've spoken about our Irish Cancer Society fundraiser. That's probably most things going on at the moment, isn't it? It's enough.
Yeah. I think it's more than enough right now. Yeah.
We have a few things coming up afterwards, but I think we don't want to overload people too much.
Yeah, cool. You said a word there, Niamh, within talking about the Live Better, and it was the word empowering or empowerment. And Sean, you said something that clicked with me, and I can't remember what the word was, but it might come back to us. But essentially, we have, for the members, around, say, our event planning, around our programming, around our calendar events, around our content, around our podcast, around our messaging, we have a kind of a guiding light in the background that we internally call the 5 E's. And the end goal, E, is the word empowerment. And essentially, us as a business, as ABC, empowerment is what we're striving to achieve for our members. Now, this sounds counterintuitive in that we actually, to be seen to do our jobs properly, we want to empower our members to not need us. We want our members to get to a stage where they can go to a large commercial gym and be able to go in and train by themselves without needing us anymore. So that is our end goal. Now, you're hoping they stay because they love the place, the community, the camaraderie. You know, it's just, it becomes part of who they are. But like, we're always quite happy when someone leaves because to do something else. And like, we've loads of examples that we could throw out of different people going doing different things because they've come through the journey. Again, I leave this pretty open. We don't have any script when it comes to the podcasts, guys. Do you want to go through what the E's are? Do we want to talk about empowerment a bit more? Have you any stories around empowerment?
I think just on that, just 'cause someone's listening going, wait, they don't want to see us anymore. It's like, no, it's not that. A prime example, because it's going the longest, is Lucan. And I was only a Lucan coach between probably, with COVID, most of 2020, the times we were open, it was only like 5-6 months. And then we closed for 5 months. And after that then, I was pretty much a Clane coach. But there's been times over the years where you'd be like, something's gone on in Lucan or coaching holiday, whatever. Sean, can you cover this more in Lucan? And I'll go in and I will know 70 to 80% of those members because they've been there since not only, and this is 5 years later, like, it's not because then since like 2020 and before that. And they're not there for like, I don't know what I'm doing. They're there because they're there at the exact same times with the exact same people, and they're pushing each other along through the sessions as well. And it's not just, you know, X, Y, and Z and exercise. If a program is good, don't judge it by the first 2-3 weeks, because our dirty secret in the fitness industry is any new program you do is something different. For the first 2-3 weeks, you might feel like it's working, but it's what's the long term. And usually there's too much volume when you're injured 2-3 months down the line, or you stagnate on an exercise and strength and stuff, and there's no, the program doesn't adapt to improve, it's not in the right environment to improve, and next thing you know, 6 months down the road, you're doing the exact same thing you were doing the first month, and the same weights and the same sets, and you're not really improving. Whereas in ABC, while with the program and stuff is always adapting, and the coaches are there to help you, you know, move on and get better and progress. It's the members there with each other and that community and the environment we have that leads to that overall empowerment. And it's just great seeing members there year after year and still having new goals and striving in the gym.
A few things you mentioned there, like confidence in a gym setting is empowerment. It is a result. Like, the fact that people are training consistently long term is a serious result, because they're going to live longer and live better because of that. So, like, people sometimes underestimate the basics, like, oh, I didn't get X on the in-body, or I didn't lose Y amount of weight, or you know, I wanted to get into this dress or this suit, and you know, that consumes a lot of the general public's mind space in a lot of gyms. For us, we don't talk about any of that stuff really, because for us, empowerment is things like being more confident in the gym, and being confident that if you're away on holidays and there's a gym in your resort or in your hotel or in the locality, that you have the confidence now to go in and look around, see what the equipment is, put a session together for yourself and train. Like, a lot of our members are now capable of doing that, but wouldn't have done it beforehand. To me, that's a huge result. As a result of that, there's people who maybe didn't consider them, I think you used the word quote unquote not gym people. If you're an ABC member, you are gym people.
Absolutely.
And you have the confidence to go and use a gym and know what you're doing and doing it safely, and be able to push yourself when you're on holidays or you know. And we've people who've left to go and do other things. I'm going to give Johnny Burke a shout out here at the moment. Like, you know, I hope Johnny doesn't mind if he ever listens to this. Johnny was quite overweight, like 18 months ago, we'll say. Started his own journey, lost a lot of weight. Then he kind of was like he had done the food bit, he had got out running and doing that, but he wanted to get stronger, he wanted to get fitter. He had set himself some lofty goals. He came to us, completely transformed himself as a human being. And then, you know, some different circumstances in his life in terms of his own personal life that I'm not going to go into, some amazing things he's doing in his personal life, that, you know, he decided, you know, I want something different than ABC. But the main thing was he's become a serious high rocks athlete. And like, we can only pat him on the back for that.
Yeah.
Like, it's like, again, it's one of those proud moments. Oh, look what he's become and look what he's going on and doing. And like, gee, I'm just so proud of Johnny, like, and think what he's doing is so cool. And like, you hear stories that, like, of other gyms where they don't want to tag themselves on Instagram doing something, different because like they'd get in trouble in their gym for doing it, or it would be frowned upon, or you know, like our gym people don't do that stuff, you know, like we don't do high rocks, or hold on, what do you mean you're off doing a 5k or a marathon, or you know, because they're all things that could take you away from us. So I have to say, as we want to empower members, we've also, I suppose, become more empowered in ourselves, in our own confidence as a business, and more mature in ourselves as coaches and as a business as time has gone on. And maybe I wouldn't have felt like that 10 years ago or 9 years ago or whatever, but like we're very confident in ourselves now that like it's like someone leaves going, oh, we've done our job there.
Yeah, we've done what we set out to do with them. They've got the strength foundation through ABC, and if they lean more towards the high rocks like Johnny Burke did, absolutely brilliant, fantastic, more power to them in that way. And things change like throughout the years, and like even you're like Niamh, just there's a gym across the way from me. They used to have like a ladies only area, and then I'm looking at videos of Niamh, like I put her hands up here, easily out squatting me there, seeing open and left challenge and stuff like that, and you know, and that leads down towards some of the events you've done before, like NFGs and different things like that, and then coming back to strength training as well.
Yeah, I suppose like what we spoke about earlier with the battle cancer and how we feel like the members have progressed so much. There's that aspect of leadership there, but it's not only coaches acting as leaders and role models, it's the members to other members acting as leaders and role models. And I found working in Lucan, Clane and Trim over the last couple of years, I can see that in all the locations, and it's like you said, it's great to go back to the gym. You're just like, you can catch up with them, like it's like you never left, even though it might be 2 or 3 years since you've been there. And you're just like, oh, how are you getting on? And you're like, oh, remember I was working on this exercise and I couldn't do this. It's like, I can do that now, and people are so proud of themselves for achieving something. Like I think I was chatting to someone this morning, and they were like, when I started, I was like, I wasn't able to lift the barbell, and now I'm doing this. And you're just like, you get to see those little moments, and it's very proud, and you get to, I just reminisce on them a little bit too much sometimes maybe, but I'm proud. And like you said earlier, and all the way, we were able to run 3 events at one time, and that you felt so proud for achieving this. Like we get little snippets of that as coaches as well on the gym floor, and we get to check in with members day to day, and it's just, oh, that's why we're doing what we're doing. It makes such an impact.
Before joining ABC, and I'm cringing at the thought, I used to say, geez, I'm too old now to play football. And then I see pictures of Noel, the jerseys and stuff, and playing football and stuff the weekend, and going back to sport and all the rest, and me there in my late 20s, I'm too old to play football. You see people coming back and doing that, and they're doing their 5-a-sides, and they're lining with ABC, or they might go, you know what, I need a couple of months away from ABC because I really want to concentrate on my football for another year or two, and you know, make all the training sessions and all the rest, and I have that base. And then when the winter months come, I'll go back to ABC for a couple of months again, and just bringing it all into whatever works for them.
Yeah. No, we could be here. We could ring off so many stories here. Like if we'd even take Val and Denise and Clane, they've both become yoga teachers, having like maybe not considered themselves gym people before joining ABC. They got the confidence from becoming gym people to then explore other modalities and genres of fitness, and then add that into their livelihood, or into their lifestyle, or into their hobbies, or whatever way they kind of use that. That's pretty cool. Like, you know, I see friends of mine that are in the gym, like say that weekend away, I said during the Live Better with Al and Niamh, good friends of me and Helen, that we went away for a couple of nights with. They went and smashed out workouts in the hotel gym. Like me and Helen didn't consider that. Like they had their my zones with them. They got 100 MEFs each. Like they belted out. Like they were proper sweating and puffing and panting and everything. We're like, what did you do? We're like, oh, we just went there. We picked out the weights that we wanted. There was medicine balls. They created a session, and we used the cardio equipment, and they boxed out. And I was kind of like, I didn't actually say it to them at the time, but I was like, again, it was another really proud moment, because I was like, don't think they would have done that a year ago. You know, Niamh might have, Al wouldn't. Like Niamh definitely would have, but Al mightn't have. But like now Al's doing it as well, like, you know, boxing out gym sessions, you know, on a Sunday morning in a hotel in Galway, like, you know. which is really cool. And so many of our members do that now that we don't even be aware of, and they mightn't even think to themselves that that is a result. But to us, if you were someone who prior to joining ABC used to say, I've tried this and I've tried that and I've stuck to nothing, or I've done something for a while but it wasn't sustainable, or I was inconsistent at it, or it was real high intensity, it was something I could only do, or high commitment, or high volume, or whatever. It was only something that you could maintain in the short run, which, you know, or I got injured, or I could never stick to something consistently. If you now go to the gym consistently because of the environment you're in, that's a serious result to us.
Absolutely, it opens so many doors.
Yeah.
The fact they're getting up early to go to a gym session on holidays and stuff like that is, it's really cool. But it's nothing we've ever outright said to them, like, yo, when you're on holidays, you in the gym, what are you doing? Like, it's just they've took that upon themselves to that. And there's so many stories like that, or going for runs or something. And it's not that they have to do it. It's they want to do that.
Yeah, and even say the My Zone works in that. Like it mightn't be a gym session, but people might go out for their walk or their run or a cycle or something and wear their My Zone just so they know how hard they've worked, so they can quantify it, because that has a meaning to them because of, you know, how it's integrated into the gym.
Or they might just leave their My Zone in the car and pretend they got a 3-hour workout in the day.
Oh, that My Zone has a mind of its own. We won't get into that, John. You're going to wrap me out now.
I just overtook me on the leaderboard. I'm like, I'm calling around the podcast.
I do want to touch base on like the members again in terms of like the different walks of life that they might go through. So we were talking about people like taking it on their own behalf to go do a workout on holidays and stuff. But we have like some major achievements and milestones that people go through. Some positive, some negative. But the resilience and self-belief that they show from potentially just believing in themselves in the gym, it gives them that confidence outside of the gym. But we've had members come in to us that they might have come in and they might have like aches, niggles, pains, but then they have to go through a major life-changing experience. Like it could be having to have like knee surgery or knee replacement or back surgery, which we've had in the gyms. And it's seeing them on the back of that and the recovery and how fast they come back, and like it gives them so much life back in terms of like day-to-day things, having to play with their kids, like doing daily chores. It's just being like, oh, if I wasn't doing this, where would I be? And it's just so cool to hear those stories. And
because of we've constantly been in education for so long, we've been told, you know, movement is medicine, keep doing it, stuff like that. But we forget that day-to-day life, when you hear someone who's done their back, that the old advice was, well, you're bedridden now for the next 8 weeks, you can't do anything like that. And seeing people coming in now and just being told, okay, I'm here because I am stiff sore, that I need to get moving more, and then after 4 or 6 weeks they're feeling, you know, they're better, they're able to move more. Like the ACLs, we had a fair few of them from skiing incidents and all the rest, and just trying to build themselves back up in the gym it is great to see that. Yeah. Not they got an ACL injury, it's great to see.
beyond that.
So at the start there we mentioned that we had 5 E's, and empowerment being the kind of the end goal. So in order to get to that end goal, we have 4 other E's, we'll say, that interchange and entangle in each other, but make it this thing that helps the journey and helps the process in terms of achieving that end goal of empowerment. And like we said, it's not that we want to get people to a point where they leave. We want to get people to a point where if they want to leave, they go in a better place than when they came in. We've 2 things that entangle would be, say, expertise would be one of the E's, and education would be one of the E's. And you know, we'll go through some of them again, but like, people now are educated on their exercise technique, on form, on load, on, you know, pain versus soreness, on, you know, does that feel like an 8 out of 10 in terms of difficulty, or a 4 out of 10? There's so many little things that people are unaware that they're getting educated on, as a result of the expertise. So because they're exposed to coaching and guidance from the second that they come into the gym to the second they leave, they're constantly being educated. So for us, education and expertise kind of intertwine. The expertise comes from the coaching team, it comes from the guidance they receive, it comes from the fact that the program is completely laid out for them, and people just have to show up for the gym. They don't have to think about it beforehand. We've so many other things then that help them understand how to push yourself, like the PB exercises, the personal best exercises, how we plan in various phases to achieve them. You know, we add in things like the ABC games, the battle cancer events, the training days, you know, encouraging the 5K events. We do all these things on purpose because they're all things that feel and add to the process of achieving that end goal of empowerment. And one of the things that helps empower people is knowledge, and that other word that we use, education. So as I said, you mentioned the live better. Empowerment is confidence. And say after you do the live better, you might be more confident in using a weighing scales on a daily basis. You might be more confident in, tracking what I'm eating isn't a dirty word, a dirty thing to do. Like I was maybe raised to believe. Like there's so many things that people learn. The My Zone helps people to learn, you don't always have to be pushing yourself to the max highest intensity to be progressing on some things, because some things don't affect your heart, and yet it's really hard. Like a bench press can be really hard and really good strength building exercise, but the fact that you're lying on your back will have an effect on your heart. And that's all subtly going into people's heads, maybe sometimes without them even realising it. Like, when I lie down, my heart doesn't go up the same way as it would if it was a squat. But the exercise can feel, I've exerted myself just as much, but it didn't have the same impact on my heart rate. But in terms of strain and stress and the muscular side of it, it has done. So there's so many sides. Anything you want to add on the coaching, the education, the technique, or stories from the gyms?
The education is so important, especially with the Live Better program. With social media, there's so many different things out there. Carbs are evil. On a day like today, for example, as we're recording this, it's Pancake Tuesday, and back in the day, I'm sure Noel, you remember this. It was when Instagram was starting to get big. Everyone was putting out their favourite banana pancakes, because you couldn't have a carb pancake, because you're not a fitness person if you have a pancake with Nutella on it and carbs. Are you mad? You don't care about your fitness at all if you're thinking that. Whereas now Jamie's talking about in moderation, and if you're going out on a night out, what to do during the day, and building throughout your entire week. And like you said there, the scales, it's always an extreme online, so it's like, never use the scale. We mean use the scales. It's all BMI. You have to be BMI. Scales means absolutely nothing. And then when Jamie goes through the scales and why it's important, like someone that hasn't lived better might even listen to that and go, did you recommend the scales every day for someone to use? Because that was demonized. You couldn't use the scales at all. And now it's like, no, this, and it's not like when the Live Better is on, like this is what you do and that's it. It's talking you through what makes work for you, not just the 4 weeks, but like you touched on, Niamh, after the 4 weeks as well, and that continued education.
Yeah, with the different tools, I suppose, that Jamie uses in the Live Better, he's just trying to give people a bigger picture, that it's not just you have to do this. He's really trying to empower people to be autonomous in their nutrition, and he gives you can do it this way. This might work for you. It might work for this person. So he's giving them the basic nutrition things, and then they can build on it. They'll learn more and more each one that they do, and they'll take something from each Live Better, and then they'll just be able to, like you said, be able to plan a night out and a weekend away.
But isn't it so funny, the pancake thing? Because when I started ABC, I would have the first few years been putting up the protein pancakes
Yeah.
and
They're rotten.
all that sort of
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah, they are.
And it's now like 10 years later, I literally couldn't care less. Like, because we've so much of a better understanding now. And we're more mature as a business and as people and everything. But like, I remember I used to put up if you're afraid to go and have a normal pancake today, well, here's the substitute pancake, here's how to get a high protein one, and we'd be putting up the recipes and the banana and eggs and protein powder and all that, and they're lovely and they're great and all that, and I'm not discouraging that. I'm just saying that you can do that, but you can also, if you want to go out and get the normal flour-based, pancake and covered in sugar or Nutella, as you said, or chocolate sauce or jam or whatever, go for it.
Yeah.
It's gorgeous.
Oh, absolutely. Like Jamie said on one of his recent videos, like one meal is not going to break your entire progress, just like one meal is not going to make it. And if you scroll back far enough, my Instagram, I'm sure there's a picture of me with banana, pancake and a barely cooked, and struggling to put it together. Yeah, that tastes nice too. And I'm like, I'm going to
Crying
need something
inside.
else, just crying. It's like, it doesn't taste like a pancake at all. Where's my Nutella and stuff? But if we can get wrapped up in that and the education and stuff, then it's very easy to get wrapped up in that and then snowball into all this kind of stuff. And that's why educate is such a huge part, and it's something that at ABC we're constantly learning off each other, and CPDs and everything else that goes with it.
Right, we do our own in-house program stuff. Like Enda and Connor led the meeting there last week, and it was brilliant. I came away from it thinking, God, that was really, really worthwhile, really good. Took a lot from that. We're all learning off each other. So that's just placing us in our own environment as well. And an environment is one of our E's too that we'll touch upon. But yeah, that's expertise, it's experience, it's peer learning and all that sort of stuff from the education side. And sometimes people are learning without knowing they're learning. If people are listening to these podcasts and they're hearing our kind of attitude towards things and our messaging towards things, and they're listening to or looking at our social media, and they're kind of understanding our messaging and our beliefs and stuff like that. Internally, we plan the podcasts and we plan the social media, and we ask ourselves, does it meet any of the 5 E's or a combination of them before we talk about or do any of it? And so there is strategy in that way around things. But I suppose we don't shout that from the rooftops. The podcast for us is a great opportunity to let listeners hear the stuff that goes on in the background and our thoughts and planning and strategy that goes on in the background. But if you're listening to the podcast, it's one of our forms of education. If you're listening to some of the snippets of the podcast when you break it up and put it up on social media, it's education. So our branding, our messaging, our culture, our community, everything we're doing, there's something education in it compared to if you're maybe going it alone, trying to do things in a gym on your own. Like
the stuff that you're talking about there, like people listening or listening to our podcast, watching our social media stories, the reels that we put up, they're immersing themselves in the environment that we've created. So you obviously have the physical environment that they come into, they use our booking system, they come into their sessions, they have their own, we have our own structure in the gym where we have a pod system. They come in, they know the structure of the sessions, how they run. And then you have the other aspect to it that they mightn't be so conscious of. So coming in and being immersed in that environment of like-minded people, getting to train hard, get a sweat on, feel good at the end of the session. The more you do that, it just becomes a part of your life, and I feel like that's something that we've incorporated really, really well.
Yeah, it does. We've all heard the 10,000 hours theory of mastering something. Now, whether there's any accuracy to it or not, I don't know, but another theory I heard recently was, if you're trying to achieve something and that the outcome and the goal is over there, there's 100 kind of crap, or there's 100 steps to get there, and or there's 100 obstacles, or there's 100 things in your way, so for us, if we were to just put that and that theory to the gym, there might be 100 gym sessions to be done to achieve a goal. And for some people that might take them twice a week for 50 weeks of the year, or the entire year to kind of get there. And at the end of it, they might their goal might be, I'm no longer the person that's intimidated going into it. And that same achievement, it then can be subconsciously working for them in so many other aspects of their lives. Like people won't believe this, you mightn't even believe this. I get very intimidated in social settings when I go into them first. You might struggle to actually, I'm so confident in your company.
Yeah.
But like, if
I don't believe you, but I can relate to it. I can definitely relate to it, but I don't believe it.
Like, I must come across weird if I'm at a social gathering or a house party or something for ages, like for the first 15, 20, half an hour, because I can be genuinely intimidated. I remember even this is so weird, even going on a family holiday to Cambrils a couple of years ago, when I arrived and you go into the resort and you just see the busyness of it, I was like so intimidated, like for the first few hours or first day, and like you're kind of nearly anxious and within yourself. And so I kind of understand that what makes me intimidated or anxious or overwhelmed, I get quite overwhelmed in these, I try and not display it, but my way of displaying it can be sitting there not talking or maybe appearing rude, and as you all know, I love to talk. I remember the first, like we've been to Cambrils in Spain a couple of times. My first time there, the first day, I was so intimidated. I was so overwhelmed. So there's so many people who feel like that going into a gym, and probably feel like that in the first 5 minutes of going into the gym, maybe every time they go into the gym, until eventually it goes away. And sometimes that can be, well, that took 100 times going to the gym to not experience that anymore a year's time if you went twice a week. But like, that could be going 4 times a week for 6 months to achieve a physical goal or an aesthetics goal or a fitness goal, or if you're training for an event. But there's so many other things outside of the physically achieving a fitness or a body composition or a strength goal that impact your lives, and just getting over little fears, like entering a room, like we're only one room. If you know, you know. We are only one room within the gyms, and they're even sized. The last 3 gyms are almost to the square foot, the same size. So, like, even the size is planned now within ABC. So there's so much to the environment that we do to try and help that end goal of empowerment that people would never realise that we're doing. Like, we literally are looking at gyms sizes being 1,500 to 2,000 square foot, because it allows us this layout. This layout allows us this amount of people in the gym, which we feel is the sweet spot. It's not, it's not overly big. It's not overly small. It's not intimidating, or like it is intimidating at the start, but there's so many things that people would never know that we're doing in the background to try and achieve those goals of empowering people. Like, I could talk forever about some of these things.
I suppose one members might see is that, especially with 12-person sessions down the gyms, would be when you come in, a coach go, I'd like you at this rack over here now, instead of before. Like, if I jumped into a session and I'm there like a minute, I'm like, you walk and go, oh, where am I supposed to stand? What am I supposed to do? A fitness class, it's just like, what am I supposed to, like, we'll go over this person and stuff, and someone's look like, if I'm coaching a class in middle class, nothing, that's my comfort zone, nothing bothers me. I'll say whatever, like, and at the end of the session, we're talking about announcements coming up with the Irish Cancer Society and all the rest, I'll just, whatever comes to my head, I'll say. But if I'm not the person in that class and I'm walking into it and it's like I'm just participating in the class, just Carol over here in the corner, no one look at me, I'm over here. So I totally, while I'm shocked it's coming from you, I can totally relate to what you're saying when in that situation, that your comfort zone is in the middle of coaching, whereas sometimes in a new situation, like, don't know about this. And if you don't have someone that has the expertise, that's like, okay, this person knows what to do, they're guiding me through the session, and later on you feel like you're just doing it yourself. How do you feel walking into a room?
Depends on the room. It really depends.
It really does.
Yeah.
It does. It depends on the room, how many people are there, the noise, the lighting.
Yeah.
Now this could be my ADHD as well.
No flashing lights.
Myself or my wife's and sister's diagnosis of me. But I do like, yeah. So there's loads of things there. The last two things we've obviously used the word environment there, but the environment and your experience within the gym are the other two things that really intertwine with the education and the expertise to achieve empowerment. And what I mean by that, like we've already mentioned, the gym, we look for a certain size gym to be able to put a certain amount of racks and our own kind of custom design into it. They're designed, the gyms are quite intimidating looking in terms of like, they're black steel, a lot of black steel and black floors and black walls and all that sort of stuff. In one sense, so you have to be conscious that like we've designed the gyms around a high performing team, strength and conditioning, a high performance sport setting, and then applying that train like an athlete message to in our personal training and fitness classes to the general public. So again, reminder, we've been involved in a lot of GA teams, inter-county, high-level club teams, Sean doing marathons and ultra marathons and all sorts of stuff, high roxes, we've had people, boxers, soccer players, everything. Our coaching team has a huge amount of experience of different sports and different training modalities and different backgrounds, but essentially we have this high-performing train like an athlete brand, which is within our messaging, which falls into our, how you experience ABC, but like the layout is on purpose, the design is on purpose, the amount of equipment is on purpose. There's so many things that fall into the environment which affect the experience, and like the podcast now will affect your experience because you might have a greater understanding of, I noticed or didn't notice that, but I didn't know that there was intention behind it. I didn't know that some of these things that they do, like planning and strategy and stuff, went into it. I just thought, like, God, just everything falls into place. It doesn't. Some of it might have fallen into place for us over the years through trial and error and trying things and failing and feedback and improving. But the experience for us is made up of so many things, from our train like an athlete messaging to, I suppose, getting out, us talking here today, being open about feelings, walking into a room will give people maybe a different understanding, like, oh God, yeah, I'd feel like that going into the gym, but at least they understand, because like they might experience that themselves in areas of their lives that they're uncomfortable with. Some of the stuff we do to help with that as well, like our community side, our social side, must be daunting when you come for the first time. It must be.
Speaking to members like on their first day in and seeing them, so like I suppose from when they come in, they're all on a journey, we'll call it the ABC journey, but they have so many different touch points when they come in, and they probably don't really think about, oh God, like this is a part of their strategy or how they do things or how they systemize it, but like from the moment you walk into the gym, you're met with a coach, you're brought through a one-to-one induction, you're talked through what to expect, when to come in, like what routine suits you. So we're really thinking about like how are we going to make this journey successful for this person, for them to stay in our environment and to benefit from all the things you can get from ABC. So like from the 30-day trial or challenge that you try out, going into your first 90 days and beyond that, like trying to immerse yourself in the community is a massive thing that we do. And like you said, someone that might feel like, oh, I haven't a clue what I'm doing on their first day, to like going in, doing ABC games, coming to all the socials, getting in and doing their battle cancer, and really striving in the environment that they've come into.
That's a great point, Niamh, because like let's say we've about a quarter of our current people training with us are doing battle cancer, right? So let's say 1 in 4 people, just for easy maths, is doing battle cancer. We might have the other 3 out of those 4 kind of going, oh, isn't it all well for them doing that battle cancer stuff, and oh look, they're all in that big clique and they all know what they're doing and all that. But they were once the person who didn't know what they were doing. They were the person who was 12 months ago too intimidated to sign up for battle cancer, but in the meantime maybe they took a chance and did an ABC Games, or you know, they did something, or now they've made a friend in the gym and the friend is going to do battle cancer, and they're like, oh, I'm going to take myself out of the comfort zone, and if she's doing it, I'm going to do it with them to support them, and I'm fearing this, I'm hating this, but I'm going to give it a try. So what I want the people who aren't doing battle cancer say at the moment, and a lot of them are probably thinking, God, they're talking about this battle cancer a lot. Now, one, it is this big lofty goal for us at the moment, and we want to make an impact, and we're using it as a mechanism to make an impact. On the other hand, we put several of these things in across the year to take people out of their comfort zone, to give them a physical challenge to try and aim to train for, because it like, you could just go to the gym twice a week, and you could just go through the motions, and you could accept, oh, I'm confident of going to the gym, and that is all brilliant. But you know, it's typical of the type of person that we attract to the gym, that they then get a little bit competitive. They get a little bit like they've had good jobs, they've had good education, they've maybe had a sports background themselves once upon a time. They're ambitious maybe in work, they're maybe ambitious for their kids, you know, like they've a positive outlook in a lot of other areas in their lives. And maybe the gym was something that they're a little bit glass half empty or feared, or maybe that was one of the things that that was the part of their life that the jigsaw wasn't falling into place. And it's like, right, I'm going to test myself here. I am going to sign up to that battle cancer thing in 4 or 6 months' time, or that ABC Games that they're talking about in three months' time, or you know, I see people that are doing 5Ks now, and God, I heard someone in the gym saying they've just did their first 5K and they're in the gym a year, and you know, now they wanted to try something else. And it's being exposed to that environment and those conversations and the like-minded people and all that those 184 people, a lot of them felt like that a year ago, or 2 years ago, or 5 or 10 years ago, and now they're in a completely different place in their lives, and they're trying these things. And sometimes it's like hearing Jamie talking about protein. Sometimes you need to hear about it 10 times until you realise I need to eat more protein. Yeah. Sometimes you need to hear about all these different challenges loads and loads of times and be exposed to it, and maybe feel a bit of left on the outside, or a little bit of FOMO if you're not involved, or whatever it is, or I kind of outside the clique, or you know, and then go, oh no, I'm going to bite the bullet and I'm going to test myself, or I'm going to stretch, you know, my comfort zones, and I'm going to try that. And we understand that that's how you feel, like, but we do these things because it helps you get to that stage of empowerment. And like we say, it's not all about the weighing scales, or it's not all about the in-body, or it's not all about a PB. Like, you have done something that has improved or changed maybe a confidence level in your life as a result of taking part in some of these things.
When I first started ABC, and I don't know why, it was the first time part of a big kind of different coaches and trainers and stuff, and a lot of very technical people, and being a bit overwhelmed. But one of the first things when we reopened, you were like, right, we need to do a big ABC Games. I'm not too sure, maybe one had done a claim before, I'm not too sure, but it was like, I just joined the claim team with Roisin and Kieran, and you're like, right, you need to be letting people know, trying to encourage them to get into it. I'm like, oh, I don't know if I can go up to someone and be like, hey, you got to do the games, you got to do this and stuff. And the more I thought about it, I was like, no, this is what we should be doing. Like, this is trying to get people more involved in the training. And it went from like just, you know, saying at the end of class and that's it, to like seeing someone here. you'd be great for the games. I'll throw your name down the clipboard. And they're like, no, wait for it. No, you will. We do this, and it'll be great now. And like when someone sees me at the end of a session now with a clipboard doing the games, and because we missed the one Christmas in Clane with the electricity going out, I'm going to be in front of everyone with that clipboard talking. It's like, well, you better give me a good reason why you're not doing it. You always won. We're coming down for that. But on the day itself, when they do it, it does be great crack. They feel much better for it, and it's just. It is definitely one of my favourite sessions of the year to be doing the game stuff afterwards. The buzz and stuff afterwards is just brilliant. But I went from I don't know if I should have people like trying to convince people, because one of the reasons I got into fitness was I didn't be good on the phone or be a salesperson. I hate talking on the phone, that kind of thing. And now Noel's trying to get me to get people to sign up to things. It's like, oh, don't really want to do that. And now it's completely different. I'm like, right, how many can we get? I want more than Luke, and I want more than Stream to have for the Clane games. And it's just, it is great crack now doing it.
But just even that on you is another sign of growth, like, and taking yourself out of your comfort zone.
Yeah, that's completely out of my comfort zone doing that kind of stuff. Completely. Now I don't feel like it is at the end of sessions doing that. But first starting out here, oh, absolutely, because it used to be just me by myself and one person in the room in a gym, and that was it. And now it's getting people to sign up to all these different things and all the rest. It definitely helped me grow in the last couple of years, and as a coach as well. Obviously, like you talk about the meetings, even Niamh, you're talking about the experience of bringing someone in for the first time. That person doesn't know, should know that we will be, the weekly meetings will be like, okay, such and such person starting this kind of injury and all the rest. So if I meet someone for the first time, I do have a background on them, or it's in the mind body notes, and okay, they have an issue with knees, they do squat and stuff like that. So straight away, one of the great things about ABC is we don't hang our hat on one particular exercise, no matter what it is. We're like, okay, if we treat the person in front of us, we coach the person in front of us, and it's not like they have to have a barbell squat, regardless that they have to do a straight bar deadlift regardless. It's like, no, what can that person do, and how can we progress that person more with each session?
Just to finish off on our big smash hits night, like, I'm going to look into the cameras here. I want as many people to step outside their comfort zone and go to that as can possibly do it. What I want to be fully clear on, this is not an after party for the battle cancer people. This is this year's big ABC social. Like, in terms of our big socials, we've done a ball a few years ago in the Glenroyal where we had 170 people to have a sit down meal in a ball, like, you know, we didn't go black tie, but we did go formal, like, you know. We did our mystery bus tour at Halloween, where we had people drinking in the gyms or drinking at the gyms, where it was in the GA club bar or whatever, and then onto a bus not knowing where they were going. And the end point was roaches in Donadee for all the gyms, and that was all Halloween themed, and it was class. And you know, that was one of our big things. We did use battle cancer last year as our big one, or what did we do? Yeah,
we went to Brady's and Maynooth after.
We did Brady's and Maynooth. We hired upstairs off Brady's and Maynooth. That was our kind of big one last year. So we always do one of these big ones where the gyms come together, and Maynooth tends to be the town with the facilities that's neutral to the three gyms. So we just capitalised on a few things falling into place. The battle cancer, getting access to a hotel on a Saturday night, which can be difficult because of weddings, and smash hits availability. It literally just, the three things just fell into place for us. So we're inviting you to that. Like, we talk about, you know, if you've listened to our podcast or you've followed us on social media for a long time, we would describe ourselves being a bit of a cheers without the beers. Sometimes there's beers, right? And this is
not in the gym.
Sometimes there's beer in the gym. Every so often, not that often. But here's one of our, like, we say the gym is like a cheers without the beers. It's like where everyone knows your name, and you walk in the door, someone will greet you with your name. You know, we pride ourselves on those small things, but we do add in beers from time to time, and nights out. And you know, and I understand people will be intimidated going to this, because like, we're expecting about 200 people, like, and you know, and going to that is intimidating. But like, it's funny, it's a really even spread between the Lucan locations, Trim and Clane. There's almost an equal spread so far in terms of the numbers, which is fantastic. So if you're on the fence, you've another week or two to decide. We want people to go. You know, you're there as an ABC member, not as a battle cancer participant. And it's one of these things that we put a lot of time and effort into because it helps that journey of empowerment, because all of a sudden going to that night out might have been the thing that took you out of your comfort zone. It might have been the thing that you bumped into somebody at that night that you knew from the area, you knew from the kids' school drop off or something, but they go at a completely different gym time to you and you didn't even know they were in the gym. And now all of a sudden there's someone that you know from walking the streets in your town or that live in your estate or something. You're like, oh, they're in the gym, and I never knew they were in the gym, but I met them on the night out, and you met that person at the night out, had a great chat with them, and now we're suddenly felt much more comfortable in yourself, you know, because somebody you could totally relate to is also doing what you're doing. Most times people don't know that until they get there. And I just, you might have other things to add, but I just want to add a really cool story from the Donadee one.
That was the one I was thinking of.
Jerry.
Yeah.
So
Go on, Jerry.
this is such a class story. So I think Jerry probably bought me a drink, Jerry from Trim, and we're up against the bar in Roaches in Donadee, and he's like, what part of Lucan are you from, Noel? And I was kind of going, like, you know, you live in Trim, Jerry, like, why are you asking what part of Lucan am I from? And I was like, oh, like, why does this matter to him? I was like, oh, like, live in Finstown, but, you know, I'm originally I grew up in Hillcrest. And he's like, what part of Hillcrest? The Tesco end or the Super Value end? And I was like, the Tesco end. And he goes, oh, like, my best mate in school lives at the Tesco end. You probably don't know him, Greg O'Neill. And I was like, Greg O'Neill? This Greg O'Neill just here. Like, literally, they were back to back.
No way.
And they hadn't seen each other in years. And, you know, like, but I was just like, Greg, do you know Jerry? And they looked at each other. They just grabbed each other and started hugging. They hadn't seen each other in years and years. And so therefore, so that was 2 of these ago, right?
Yeah.
So then they went to the last one and spent the whole night together because it was like a yearly catch-up.
Yeah.
It was seeing the emotion and the surprise of it was like being there. It was just so random and so cool. But what was the most random thing was they were genuinely back to back and hadn't recognised or seen each other.
The timing of that.
It was unbelievable. There was actually several. Sarah, who was one of our sponsors in Trim, went to school with Helen.
Oh, no way.
Yeah, but didn't realise because, you know, her married name versus her maiden name.
Yeah.
Stuff like that. So she went to school with Helen, but like has her business in Maynooth, lives in Trim. Her and her husband go to the Trim gym. So like, they didn't know that until the night out. Like, there was loads of little things like that happened on these nights out over the years. That people met someone that they knew from a different location without knowing that they were in the gym. Or like, it would be so cool. But you don't know whether these things are going to happen unless you make the time and the face up to maybe the fear of going along. And it ends up being great crack.
Yeah.
I can't top that story.
I'm going to say you took my story because I was thinking of the same thing.
Okay. I could sense Niamh was going to tell. It was my story to tell.
It was.
It was my story to tell because I was the one that realised.
Yeah, you told it well.
Yeah, the situation. I'll never forget. It was just so unique.
Yeah.
It was deadly.
On top of all the stuff we do, you say behind the scenes, the build to it, one of those things is all the emails and newsletters leading towards it. And on one of those emails Niamh that sent out is the link for people that, if they're listening right now, just have to go into that link, search ABC and start signing up for Glenroyal on March 22nd. Smash Hits Night.
Yes, tickets are on sale this week, so if you don't have the form filled out, you'll be not sent the link. So get on to the newsletter, click the link and sign up.